Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion is still a masterpiece, and in this video I'm going to tell you why, and if you haven't played this game before, why you should play it in the year 2023, and if you have played the game before, it's just as good as you remember. And before we get too far in this video, I just want to get it out of the way early that this video is by no means a way for me to say that Oblivion is way better than Skyrim, because I found as I was writing the script for this video that I make a lot of comparisons between Oblivion and Skyrim and things that I think Oblivion does better than Skyrim, and by no means is this a way for me to say that Oblivion's amazing and Skyrim is a bad game or anything like that. I could just as easily make a video about things that Skyrim does better than Oblivion, but that's not what this video is, and as a matter of fact, I very well may make that video. In fact, I probably will. And if this is your first time on my channel, welcome to Live from my basement, where I make tons of videos comparing games to one another and showing what I think each game did better than the other, and have quite a bit of fun doing it. And if you find yourself liking this video, be sure to subscribe and do all the bells and whistles stuff so that you get notified every time I release a new video. And you can jump into the comments and say hi, I'll say hi back. It's a ton of fun, and actually some say it's too much fun. That's dumb, but I'm keeping it in the video. So here we are, guys, in beautiful Cyrodiil, and guys, it looks just as good as you remember. This game is gorgeous, but I really want to start this video right here, and what I mean by that is with this game's setting, is as you can see, not really great from right here, but this Oblivion's setting is more of a medieval fantasy instead of Skyrim's more Viking-esque style. There's lots of stone cities and stuff like that, like the most notable right here, the Imperial City, which I would show you a little faster, but this game doesn't have sprint, but that's not what this video is about. So as I was saying, these stone cities that you see scattered across the landscape in Cyrodiil are a far cry from the wooden Viking-esque villages that you see scattered all across Skyrim. Not that the Viking style is bad, I actually love it for Skyrim. It's just I personally prefer this medieval high fantasy feel that Oblivion has. Stone castles and cities and ironclad knights on horseback wandering the landscape. I just absolutely love it. Not saying that the Skyrim Viking style is bad, I just prefer this over that. But other than the game setting, there's just some other things about Oblivion's open world that feel a bit more dynamic, and I'm going to give you an example right here, right now, by comparing to you how you join the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion versus Skyrim. If you think about how you join the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim, it plays out the exact same way every time. You have to go do that quest in Windhelm with the kid, and then you go through the initiation. It plays out the exact same every single time. Whereas in Oblivion, it has player choice. It has more of a part to play in how you actually join the Dark Brotherhood, and I'll show you right now by cold-blooded murdering this guy, because it's the only way to join. Don't hurt me. I gotta do it. It's for the video. Ugh. Your killing has been observed by forces unknown, and this, I could have killed anybody, cold-blooded murdered anybody in the open world, and this is how you join the Dark Brotherhood. Now, the next time I sleep, let's go ahead and get a room at this Wanet Inn. Let's go ahead and do that. And the reason I'm getting a room at the Wanet Inn is because the way you join the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion is after you commit a cold-blooded murder to anybody in the open world, you will be awoken in your sleep by the speaker of the Dark Brotherhood, no matter where you sleep. So let's just say I'm going to sleep for 11 hours with rest, and then I am immediately woken up, as you can see, by the speaker of the Dark Brotherhood, and he will come to you no matter where you are. That's what I meant by this interaction and joining the Dark Brotherhood is a bit more dynamic, because in Skyrim that quest plays out the exact same way every time. You do the quest in Windhelm and then you start down the Dark Brotherhood road. In Oblivion, you murder anybody in the open world cold-blooded, and you'll be awoken by the speaker of the Dark Brotherhood no matter where you sleep. In this case, this guy snuck into my hotel room, snuck into the hotel, came into my room while I was sleeping, and woke me up to begin initiating me into the Dark Brotherhood. And this could have happened in a hotel room, like you just saw. It could have happened in my home. It could have happened in a camp, in a tent, on top of a snowy mountain. And that is a player interaction that you see in this game, but you don't see in a lot of other games. And I think that's really cool, because my story of joining the Dark Brotherhood would be completely different than, say, yours. You know, say you accidentally murdered somebody, and then you went to bed at your home and you got awoken by the speaker. Or in this case, I was just being a dick and I killed some guy and slept in the inn, and then woke up by the speaker of the Dark Brotherhood, which then would send me down that path if I choose to do so. And what's also really cool here is once I'm done talking with him, he gives me a blade to go and commit another murder to officially join the Dark Brotherhood, and then just as he snuck into the hotel, he takes an invisibility potion, and then just as sneakily as he came into the hotel, he is sneaking out and that's just so cool. That's dynamic. That was my choice to come here, and so this interaction and me joining the Dark Brotherhood is my personal story, and that's so cool because that's something you don't see in, say, Skyrim, where it plays out the exact same way every single time. And it just makes the open world of Oblivion feel that much more genuine, really, and I love this game for it. But segueing now to what is really one of my favorite parts about Oblivion, the story, and there's a mud crab. Oh, I thought mud crabs more fearsome than you. But anyway, one of my favorite parts about Oblivion is actually its story. Let me put my sword away. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this video spoiling everything about the story. I'm going to talk about it a bit, but really what I want to get at is that in Oblivion's story, one of the things I love about it is actually who your character is within that story. Because unlike in Skyrim, where you are the Dragonborn, this Jesus Christ-like character, which the world and story evolves around you as the Dragonborn in that game. But in Oblivion, you're not even the main character of the overarching story. You are more of a witness to the events of this game, and I find that really interesting. The main character, I would say, of Oblivion is actually Martin Septim, and as I said, I'm not going to spoil the whole game here, but he's actually voiced by Sean Bean, which is pretty cool, and Patrick Stewart is also voicing somebody, the Emperor, in this game, which is also pretty cool. And what I mean by your character actually not being the main character, actually being something that's kind of cool and unique in Oblivion, is that your character, instead of being the Dragonborn in the world and story revolving around you, your character, the hero of Kvatch, is actually more of a bystander to the main events of the story. And as you can see, the sky is actually getting pretty black and red, which is, it's gonna get more and more that way as we get closer to this Oblivion Gate up here, which is what I'm getting at, because the story is about these Oblivion Gates, which are basically portals to hell opening all over Cyrodiil, and Daedra troops, which just look gnarly. They look so badass, just coming through and waging what is not so much as a war as much as it is an extermination and slavery of all living things, with the Daedric Prince of Destruction, Marin's Dagon, and as you can see right here, an Oblivion Gate as the guards of Kvatch go to engage what is one of the coolest game design things I've ever seen. I love the designs of these Oblivion Gates. But what's so awesome about, like, what really this story is that it feels like it's not to say that the plot of Skyrim, it didn't feel like the world was in jeopardy, but obviously there's a problem here. The forces of Oblivion are invading Cyrodiil and are going to take over the world, and it feels like this huge conflict, and there's the good guys versus the bad guys, whereas Skyrim, you are the Dragonborn and you're trying to stop Alduin, this ancient dragon that's supposed to destroy the world, and this just feels more like, I don't want to say like Lord of the Rings-esque, but it feels like, you know, the forces of good versus the obvious forces of evil, and it's just a good versus evil story on a massive scale. It feels like the scale of the story and plot of Oblivion is larger than what you see in Skyrim. Not to say that the dragons in Skyrim and all that isn't intriguing and cool, dragons are awesome, but this is just so epic. I mean, look how rad this Oblivion Gate looks, and these things are popping up all over the open world of Cyrodiil, pouring Daedra, and it's up to you to go and close them and stop the invasion, or as the Emperor says, shut the jaws of Oblivion. I love it, and I promise you guys will too if you've never experienced this game. But other than your character, it's actually the other characters, the NPCs that inhabit the world of Cyrodiil in Oblivion, that give this world so much charm. And I know it's been mean to death, the dialogue and conversations between these NPCs, but that's just because they're hilarious and they're so cold and blunt with each other that it's hysterical. Let's listen to what some of these people have to say. Oh, she's about to talk to the bum.
Isn't the Gilded Carafe a nice shop? I've browsed Claudette's shop, but I haven't spent a lot of time there. Bye.
She snorted at her! And she's talking about...
An old beggar.
Her voice literally changed. She's talking about, oh man, isn't the Gilded Craft such a nice shop? You're literally begging for money and you ain't got shoes, lady. And then she's done with her conversation. She's like, you got a coin for an old beggar? Listen to this.
One more coin and I can get a pair of shoes.
If you wouldn't spend all your money at the Gilded Craft, maybe you'd have shoes. God.
Do you think what happened to Kvatch could happen here?
No.
What's the news from the other parts of Tamriel?
Well, anyway, I love that the guard is actually talking about the danger of destroying the city of Kvatch. Do you think that can happen here? You're literally the city guard talking to a civilian. Do you think we're all fucked? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, oh well, moving on.
How are you today?
I'm worried the city's gonna fall any day, but how are you?
What is it, sir?
I love it. I love these guys.
The Tiber
Begging in the rain.
Hotel is a nice place. It's not cheap, though.
You're homeless!
The finest inn in all of Cyrodiil. Take care.
Have pity on an old war veteran.
She out here begging all day in the rain, talking about how she goes to the finest restaurants and hotels. She ain't got money for shoes. And she's just... You can't make it up. It's crazy. And as you can see from a quick Google search, that it's not just the NPCs that can be hilarious, because these are character created, like players in the game. This could be you. Look at these guys. You can't make that. That looks like a crazy version of Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm freaking crying, dude. It's too funny. You can't. It just doesn't get better than this. This game can be just so wild. It's just like on top of everything, it could be hilarious, and I love it for that. And so the last thing I want to break into here before I close out this video is how this game, the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, when compared to, say, Skyrim, feels more to me like an actual RPG. And I know that may sound kind of weird, and I'm going to dive into exactly what I mean right now. Right here above me are actually my 7 major skills that I've chosen for this character in Oblivion. Major skills are a concept that's completely missing from Skyrim, and I feel like that was a mistake, because having 7 major skills makes our characters that we create feel more unique. My character will be different than your character, and what I mean by that is, as you can see, the 7 major skills I've chosen here: athletics, blade, block, heavy armor, alchemy, restoration, and mercantile. Those are the skills, the only skills in the game. Out of all the skills in the game, I chose those 7 to be my 7 major skills, and the only way my character in Oblivion can level up is if I increase those skills. In Skyrim, it didn't matter what skill you increased, you would get closer to your level up. In Oblivion, you have to choose 7 skills out of all of the skills to be your major skills, and that chooses basically the build of your character in Oblivion. And in Skyrim, say we both put hundreds of hours into Skyrim, and today I feel like being an archer, and I become a master archer. I get that skill to 100, and then the next day I want to be a wizard. I get that wizard, the destruction and conjuration and restoration skills up to 100. I'm now a master wizard, and the next day I could be a brute with 2-handed and heavy armor. You can be a jack of all trades in Skyrim, whereas in Oblivion, your character is defined by those 7 major skills that you chose when you made your character. And I know that may sound like a bit of a problem for Oblivion, but in my opinion, it really isn't, because it makes my character and your character completely different. I have so many memories of playing Oblivion at like my friends' houses, and they would be playing as well, and we would compare our characters, because his character would be completely different than my character depending on the 7 major skills that he chose when making that character's build, so to speak. So you might see someone who's a complete and badass wizard, whereas my character is really good as a master of alchemy. I make lots of poisons, and so somebody who's really good at archery is completely different than me, and we play the game completely different. Whereas in Skyrim, as I said, at the end of the day, our characters are really the same, because at the end of the day, we're all jacks of all trades, and we can all be masters of everything. Whereas in Oblivion, those 7 major skills chose really what your character was going to be good at, and you would have to start over if you wanted to make a different character with a different build. But at the end of the day, it made those characters more unique that we were creating in Oblivion. And now, this guy wants to fight. And as I said earlier, I'm not going to pretend like everything in Oblivion is better than Skyrim, because it's really not. The combat, like the melee combat, as you can see, it kind of feels like I'm hitting these people with like a wet pool noodle. It doesn't really feel like I'm making a connection. But, I mean, it's serviceable. It's still fun. There are definitely things that Skyrim does better, and I just want to make sure that that's clear multiple times within this video. But that was gnarly. Take that. But anyway, it's that decision that you have to make with your... Did you see me just launch that plate of food? There it goes. But anyway, it's that decision that you make when you choose your 7 major skills that create your character and make your character feel more genuine. Because just like I said with Skyrim, you can't, wake up one day and decide, I want my character to be a master wizard. Or then the day after that, be like, I want to be a master of stealth. In this game, you would have to create a dedicated character that is just 100% dedicated to that build, and it made your characters, I said, feel more genuine. And that's one thing about Oblivion entirely, is that the world just feels more genuine. I just noticed I got an arrow straight through right in the tenderloin. But it's this game. It's filled with so much charm, and it just feels genuine down to the world and the characters you create that you inhabit the world with. Because I feel like, on top of everything that I said along the story, with you not being the main character and your character being unique, you feel like you exist within this world instead of the world revolving around you, and it makes the world feel that much more real. And it's one of the many reasons why I love the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. So at the end of the day, guys, if you're curious as to whether or not you should play the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion in the year 2023, absolutely, I think you should, especially if you're one of those people that have only played the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim and you're hotly anticipating the sequel, Skyrim 2 or the Elder Scrolls 6, then I think you should definitely go back and play the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. The game, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. I have a lot of nostalgia, though, but I'm telling you guys, the world holds up, the story and characters hold up, and the world has so much charm, and the characters that exist within this world of Tamriel of Cyrodiil are just absolutely hysterical. I love this game to death, and I believe if you try this game now, even today, or in the year of 2023, you will enjoy it as well. And if you've played this game before, as I said earlier, it's just as good as you remember. This game, in my opinion, is an absolute masterpiece. But guys, that is all I have for this video, and as I said before, if you found yourself liking this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell and whistle so you get notified for future videos so that we can continue to get to know each other. It's going to be fun. But guys, as I said, that's all I have for this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.